What's up, guys? How the hell are you? Welcome to another episode of Coffee Time. I'm River. Where the hell's this guy at? What?
I'm sorry. I was putting makeup, hair, you know. I'm here. How's it going?
We start this at the same time every time.
Not this time.
Roll the intro. Alright, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Coffee Time. And I'm glad you are here to join us to have some caffeine, talk about some photography, and just have an overall great time.
Yeah, that's right. I am back.
Yeah. Thanks for being late, Josiah.
Yeah, well, you know, we can't all be perfect in the morning. This is not the morning. We are not even drinking coffee right now. It's no. Lies. Is it lies? All right,
Well,
maybe.
today we got for you 8 photography and videography tips and tricks. So we're going to start out with number 1 with Josiah.
That's right. I'm going to talk about it. Having a great camera bag or a good camera bag and how that can make the difference. If you saw last week's episode, we actually went through our camera bags. It was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of the stuff that we carry, and then we saw the size difference. Mine was obviously huge, and yours was so small. But no, it's not
If you
true.
look through a microscope, yours was huge.
Yeah, it's monstrous. Anyways, the point is that having a good camera bag can make the difference between having a great shoot and having just an okay shoot to having a terrible time. Which, on my first shoots, I used to have, I think I mentioned it before, a shoebox size for a camera.
It was a purse.
Yeah, it was a purse. It was a man purse. I can't even say that. It was just a purse. Anyways, so having a great camera bag is essential to doing what you love to do. Sometimes, like for me, I like my little backpack, but that's not for everybody. Some people, maybe they want to do like a fanny pack or a satchel, you know, something.
A rolling bag.
Some people do rolling Pelican bags if they're really like OCD about protecting their lenses and are scared.
Or you're doing a lot of travel through airports and going to different countries, and you just need that extra bit of protection.
Yeah, gives a peace of mind with all your very expensive equipment, unless you're me and you don't have that very much expensive equipment.
But your equipment matters. Doesn't mean if it's expensive or not.
It's sentimental.
Not even that. It matters.
So, there are literally thousands and thousands of different camera bags, like I said, ranging from satchels to purses to whatever you want. But make sure you have the one that fits your needs the best, and make sure it's organized, because I don't know how many times I've looked in my bag and like, hey, where's this? Oh, it's back under my bed somewhere, because
Organization is key.
Organization is key. So,
Yeah. So, moving on.
moving
To tip number 2. That's going to be filters. So filters are very important. Screw into the end of your lens. They have special guide rails that you put on the end of your lens. There's all different types. You got ND filters, CPL filters, color filters, UV filters, graduated ND filters, variable ND filters. Just all kinds of different filters.
Filters.
I think we say filters a couple more times.
Filters.
Woo! Filters.
Don't we use a filter literally every time we do vlogging?
And every time we make coffee.
Yeah, we do actually.
Different type of filter. But filters.
Yeah, don't pour hot water on your...
An example of a filter we use all the time is the variable ND filter. Put on the end of the lens. You can change it from having 2 stops all the way to 16. So
Now, for the layman, I don't know what a stop is. Can you explain it to me?
just like your f-stop, your aperture. So let's say if you are shooting at 5.6 and you put 2 stops at ND, you're at 7.1.
What? So it changes it much like that, so you don't have to go through your camera settings. You just go,
Absolutely.
whoop, look at that. Beautiful exposure.
You have graduated ND filters, great for sunsets. Keeps your sun from getting blown out and keeps your foreground right there in perfect contrast and color.
Well, I always like perfectness.
And A filter that I don't normally use, but a lot of people like to use it just to protect their lenses, is a UV filter.
Yeah, I should probably have one of those because I like to throw my lenses. Although you got me those nice rubber silicone.
Throw your lenses. I think you like to throw my lenses.
Your lens. It's only your stuff that I lose and, you know, whatever.
Dribbling it on the table like a
Dribbling on the
freaking
table.
crazy person.
Well, I was trying to join the NBA. And NCA? I don't know. National Cannon. Anyways.
National Cookie Assembly.
I'd be a part of that. I'd be the Olympic gold.
All right. So tip number
3. 3. Is it 3?
it is.
I can't count. Anyways, tip number 3, we're talking about stabilizers. Now this is between either hand stabilizers, gimbals, or even a 3-axis gimbal, which is a powered gimbal. And we're talking about different tips that you can do to stabilize your footage. Now, not all the time you need to stabilize it. Sometimes you want to, like, you know, get that little
natural
shutter.
shape.
But when you want to get that nice flowing B-roll, there's a few things you can do. If you have a neck strap, because you're a tourist, you can
Neck straps are not that bad.
I mean, they're okay. I mean, I use one for a
We
little
just don't
bit.
use them.
We don't. But you can take it and you can hold it stiff against your neck, and then you can get that nice. I'm like rocking a baby right now, but that's what you can do with it. And you have a weighted gimbal. I think we talked about it, smacking everybody when we on our Monterey trip.
It's just basically a tripod head on with a stick that has some weights at the bottom that you can change the amount to fit your camera. And basically just gives you a nice smooth video because it pulls weight so you're not shaking as much. And it makes your movements a little more smooth.
I don't know about shaking too much. I was shaking holding it because that puppy weighs 1,000,000 pounds. It felt like it when I was holding it for a second. I wasn't holding it that long, but
Like 48 seconds.
48 seconds. And then finally there's powered gimbals, which are super expensive, but they're really cool because you could do a ton of stuff with them. I have a powered gimbal for my GoPro. That's real little, but you thought I was gonna say for my camera. No, I wish, but those are really awesome. You can do a lot of really cool stuff.
And super expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
But if you can afford it and you're doing a lot of video stuff and you just want to up your game,
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do
absolutely
it.
get you one.
So, moving on to tip number
4.
4.
So this tip is going to be frames per second versus shutter speed. So here is my tip for you. Shoot in 24 frames per second always. I'm kidding, but really do that.
Yeah.
It's the most cinematic and it looks beautiful and it's just the right thing to do.
I used to think that the more frames you got, the better footage you got. But that's not always the case. It depends on what you're doing. And I have many times taken the camera and shot differently, and then he yells at me. So.
All right, I'm actually going to give you the tip now. So if you're shooting 24 frames per second, you want to shoot double your frame rate for your shutter speed. Gives you the most natural movement. So say 24 frames per second, you're going to shoot your shutter speed at 50. If you're shooting 60 frames a second, you want it at 120, 125, whatever your camera does. It just gives you the most natural look. It doesn't look jumpy, doesn't look too fast, so things look fake, but that's tip number 4.
And now we're moving on to tip number 5, and I think it's my favorite tip, honestly, because it's one of my favorite tools to use, and that is Adobe Lightroom. And if you don't know what Adobe Lightroom is, it's because you've lived
Because
under
you're a caveman.
Caveman, yeah, like Franklin.
Franklin.
He gotta shout. Anyways, but Lightroom is a really great tool to use. You can get it on your mobile and you can get it on your desktop, and there's actually 2 different versions. There's Lightroom and then there's Lightroom Classic, which has a lot more different kind of tools. But basically on the phone, it's free to use on your phone, which is super cool, and it's useful too because I think you were mentioning it one of these days that when you were on that fabulous deployment, because we're deployable. I mean, I'm not. But anyways, but you were out there.
I used it every day.
He used it every day because he was able to just upload his photos to the mobile app.
phone. Yeah.
And he was able to edit the photos. And for me, it really taught me a lot about how to edit photos because you can play with the sliders and have a good time and see how crazy your photos can turn out. But it kind of teaches you how to do it.
And a big thing about Lightroom is that it's non-destructive editing, so you can always revert it back to the original. So if you screw something up, you know what you did, just go back to the original and start over.
Unless you take pictures like me and then it's already destructive, right? Anyways, let's move on to tip number... That many.
37?
6.
Tip number 6, good audio. So, as you can see, we have pretty good audio. That's because we do a lot of things to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Many things. 1, we have a nice microphone for our camera. 2, we cover up almost every hard surface possible. We put up a backdrop. We have sound panels. We have a rug on the floor. We make sure all the doors are covered. So basically the biggest tip is to have good audio. Cover all the hard surfaces and deflect your sound so it doesn't bounce back and reverb at you.
Like you're talking into a bathroom. No one likes bathroom talk.
It may be good for singing, but it's not good for videos.
That's right. I think the next step for us after covering everything is putting a toupee on me to, kill the sound from the dome.
Absolutely. But those are really expensive.
Yeah, and I don't know if I look good with hair anymore.
I don't know. But there's all kinds of different things you can do. If you can't afford to get sound panels or soundproofing foam, you can just put a blanket on the wall. Thumbtacks does the same thing. Your floor, if you don't have carpet, throw down a rug, throw down a towel, a blanket, something soft, just to keep the sound from bouncing around. So moving on to tip number 7.
7, that's this many, if you guys didn't go to kindergarten. It's all about lighting. I don't know if you see, but we have improved our lighting a little bit, and it's super important.
Just a little bit.
I mean,
just a smidgen.
How many lights do we have?
We have 3 now.
3?
Well,
we're doing a lot of
for
counting.
This set. We actually have
a million.
About 10 different types of lights.
Yeah. That's not including the lamps.
That's just photo lighting. So we got our new soft boxes.
They're very cool.
We have the old lights we're using that were more of try to look like a flash style light, but they were continuous. Then we have a bunch of actual flash lights. Not like a flashlight, but a light. Those are really old and ancient, but they still work. And then we have the Lume Cube.
The Lume Cube.
The Lume Cube. It's a little tiny guy, but it's real bright.
It does the job.
So, what is the most important thing about lighting?
Don't point the camera at the sun?
No, it sets the mood.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You never want to walk into, like a romantic room that's full of like neon purple, bright spotlights. I mean, unless you're into that.
You want to set the mood. If you have a super intense war fighting scene or just something crazy action, you want some dramatic lighting. If you're going to the beach to have fun, you want something bright and inviting. If you're trying to, just be the most natural possible, the best way, not even just being the most natural, but the best way to get lighting is from a window or be outside. Sunlight is the best lighting. It's always perfect.
It's like it was intended for it or something.
Yeah, you can't turn it off. It's just kind of there, being great. So, our biggest tip for lighting is try to be next to a window, use that natural light because it looks fantastic.
We all love golden hour.
Yes, we do.
And I think the last tip, number 8.
That's 9.
That is 9. I can't count, obviously. There's a lot of counting in this episode.
He's been out of school a little too long, guys. Send help.
Send help.
Send help, guys. We'll teach him how to count. But tip number 8.
There it is.
It's drones.
Drones, and more drones.
And thanks. That's today's episode. Goodbye, guys.
See ya.
No, I'm kidding. So, drones. They are a great tool because you can get the most interesting shots from a drone. Something you can never get just standing on the ground, climbing in a tree. Nope. If you put that drone 400 feet in the air and you point that camera down, there ain't nothing like it.
Yeah, especially when you fly it down from that height, 45 miles an hour, straight down on somebody. Talk about butter.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different things you can do. They enhance your video for sure. You can get all kinds of different shots. There's just something about a drone. They're just very cinematic. They're stabilized, most of them.
I think there was a lot of kissing the last episode with your drone.
I love my drone.
Yeah, well, that's apparent.
I love my drone so much.
Some people, not some people, but drones can be expensive, and so it's kind of like whatever fits you is the one you should go for, but not everybody needs to use drones. I don't use a drone, but I mean, I wish I did. that's
whatever fits your needs.
Yeah.
Or your wants. If you want a drone, go buy a drone.
Buy it. Do it. Who cares?
You know, do you. It's your money, and you want it now. So, get you a drone.
Are we sponsored by J.G. Wentworth?
Nope.
Now we are. Just kidding.
But all these things are just tips and tricks that we think work. If you have something different, you know, let us know. If you like these tips and tricks, let us know. And that's all of our tips and tricks for today.
That's right. So I think we're going to start a new thing. I think we should say stay caffeinated.
Stay caffeinated, my friends.
Are we the most interested? Are we the most
caffeinated
man in the world?
Well, guys, thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give us a subscribe, a like, hit that bell for notifications, do all those things. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Go check out the website, and that's about it.
But there's so much counting. I wanted to do another one.
Follow us on YouTube.
You're here already. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. And stay tuned for the next one.
See you guys.
Stay caffeinated.